There's a German dummy tank made of reeds. It was made in 1918. The Cameron Highlanders, a Scottish infantry regiment of the British Army, and Indian troops marched past the Great Pyramid in the North African desert on December 9, 1940. President George H.W. Bush watches Clarence Thomas get sworn into the Supreme Court. It was October 23, 1991. Iggy Pop, John Waters, Quentin Tarantino and Tim Burton in 1997. Audrey Hepburn, 1993. The Great Oklahoma Land Rush of 1893. Catherine Zeta-Jones is sitting in the back of a London cab in June 1995. The Grand Magazine du Fayel in Paris, France, first opened in 1856. It was expanded several times between 1874 and 1913 and became one of the largest department stores of the early 20th century. A woman inmate of Belsen concentration camp kisses the hand of Army Film and Photographic Unit cameraman Lieutenant Martin Wilson on liberation. Ted Bundy with his then-girlfriend Elizabeth Klopfer in Utah in 1975. Martin Sheen with his sons, Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen, around the 1980s. A captured Viet Cong soldier, tied and blindfolded, is in a stress position. This happened at Thuong Duc Camp during the Vietnam War in 1967. Willie Mays congratulates Roberto Clemente after getting his 3,000th career hit in 1972. Eminem, his mom, and his younger brother in the 1990s. Okay, so there's this robot vacuum cleaner, a prototype from 1959. A policeman is checking a driver's license, and there's a cat there too. This all happened in Great Britain in 1936. Kathy Ireland for Sports Illustrated swimsuit in 1987. Here's a description of a crater caused by an American bomb. It was taken at Langley Field, showing the wide crater made by a certain type of bomb released from an aeroplane. The date is 1917 to 1918. The Bit Computer magazine cover, featuring the future of communications. It was from the early 80s to the 90s. The Nizam of Hyderabad, Mir Osman Ali, is paying homage to the Crown, King George V and Queen, at the Delhi Durbar in 1911. Cliff Richard. He's got that classic teddy boy look from 1962. Prague, 1910 versus 2020. Frida Lingstead from ABBA with Graham Tainton, the group's choreographer, in 1979. Natalie Wood. She was a star in the 1960s. Carrie Fisher, the 80s. The first hijacking in Japan's history involved 9 gangsters. They used artificial toys, hijacked 131 people, and successfully fled abroad. Patrick O'Neill, a one-armed blacksmith. This was in Tottenham, England in 1929. A child from Thokoza Township is watching a South African Defence Force soldier who's keeping an eye on the street. This was during the political violence between the ANC and the IFP. This took place in Thokoza, South Africa, on April 13th, 1994. Those 1939 predictions about what fashion would look like in the year 2000 are also funny to see now. Nicolae Ceausescu, the Romanian communist dictator, is carving a big barbecued pig at a state dinner. This was in the early 1980s. During Ceausescu's time in power, millions of Romanians experienced starvation and malnutrition because of the widespread food shortages. Eminem, when he was young, is showing off his unsigned hype article that was featured in the Source magazine in March of 1998. This is a behind-the-scenes photo from the filming of the first Godzilla movie. It was taken in Japan in 1954. Brendan Fraser, voted sexiest man alive sometime in the 1990s. A man's taking a roadworthiness test in Hungary in the 1980s. Monica Bellucci, 1988. A painter is on the Eiffel Tower. This happened in 1953. Sophia Loren and Charlie Chaplin, 1967. November 9th, 1994. Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt at the premiere of Interview with the Vampire. A child is picking cotton. It's the 1940s in the United States. Drew Barrymore, 1990. Jim Henson and Richard Hunt are with their Muppet characters Kermit the Frog and Scooter at the 58th Academy Awards in 1986. There are circus performers named George Moore, also known as the Living Skeleton, and Fred Howe, the Fat Man. The picture was taken in 1897. Sandra Bullock and Adam Sandler are backstage at the 1994 MTV Video Music Awards. (1956) Young teddy boys somewhere in England. A girl is standing with milk buckets. This is on Walcheren Island in the Zeeland province of the Netherlands. The year is 1946. Elton poses in his soccer kit at Watford's Vicarage Road football ground in 1973. June 6, 1944. These folks gathered in Times Square to watch the news ticker on the New York Times building on D-Day World War II. The first Batmobile, Clément Ader with his steam-powered Aeol in 1890. This is a Hitachi K1100 portable TV from 1980. With nothing but devastation confronting him, this Chinese water boy still carried on after 4 days and nights of aerial bombardment at the hands of Japanese warplanes in Chongqing, China, on August 10, 1940. It's the late 1990s rave scene. Mariah Carey is with LL Cool J at the 1997 MTV Video Music Awards. Monica Bellucci and Shana Zadrick were photographed by Ellen von Unwerth in 1994. Blanche Barrow, a member of Bonnie and Clyde's gang the moment she was captured in 1933. Martin Sheen with his wife Janet and their children, Ramon, Emilio, Charlie and Renee in 1974. Halle Berry, 1997. George, the humanoid robot from the 1930s, was constructed by motor engineer Alan Herbert Reffel and Captain W. H. Richards in 1930. In February 1909, one of America's most legendary Apache leaders, Geronimo, was photographed for the last time. The Bawamatalua villagers are dragging a megalith. This happened in 1915. The WOWS protested in Berkeley against the new fashion trends. They were upset that the new styles featured longer skirts and padded hips, which they felt was an attempt to return to more conservative styles from before the war. The date of the protest was August 27, 1947. Harry Truman and Pablo Picasso at Valaro, France in 1958. A Native American tribesman scalps an effigy of Adolf Hitler in 1940s. JP Morgan went into a rage because somebody took a picture of his face and his rhinophyma was visible in the 1900s. Lenin speaks on Red Square during the unveiling of the monument to Stepan Razin on May 1, 1919. Marilyn Monroe, Military Identification, Department of Defense, 1954. Susie Sue in 1980. Houdini entertaining hospitalized children in 1925. It was the Liverpool Blitz in 1941. Two little sisters bravely rescued their teddy bear from some rubble using a doll's pram. Clowns during the First World War. These are the Balmorals, who were entertainers for the British 51st Division in Chelles, France, on May 7, 1917. From September of 1947 to January of 1949, the travelling exhibition Freedom Train travelled across the United States. The exhibition was dedicated to the history of American democracy. Singer Amy Winehouse during her school days before she was a singer, around the mid-1990s. Minusинsk, Siberia, there's a Tatar medicine man, also known as a shaman. He's in full ceremonial dress with his face veiled. He's holding a frame drum and a beater. This was around 1920. There's a 1961 Buick Flamingo and it has a front seat that rotates. There's a Hasidic man. He's wearing a shtreimel, which is a fur hat. This was during the Sabbath in Kazimierz, Krakow. The time frame is around 1935 to 1938. Madonna, New York, 1986. Night at a police station in New York City, 1972. Alright, so this is what a Japanese tram looked like after the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, and next to it is a restored version. A little girl and her dog are together with a smoking pipe. This happened in the 1940s. Adolf Hitler meets the Indian nationalist leader Subhas Chandra Bose. The meeting took place in 1942. They are in Germany. A Khanty mother and her child are eating raw reindeer meat in the Yamal Peninsula, which is in the Yamalo-Nenets Autonomous Okrug, northern Siberia, Russia, in 1991. Stephen Hawking before ALS disease in the 1960s. There are girls in Beijing practicing stilt walking in 1934. Alan Rickman on the set of Dogma, 1999. An Italian monk dressed in funeral attire sometime between the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The Roentgen steed, designed to hold children while they have chest X-rays, was created in 1957. Eminem with his crew in 1991. Standing over the crowd during a major pro-Khomeini demonstration, a Khomeini supporter becomes a photographic display of atrocities committed by the army in Savak. This happened in Tehran, Iran, in January of 1979. Freddie Mercury, Osaka, 1982. Marilyn Monroe arrives at a party in New York in a helicopter on the 3rd of August 1953. Eric Vallance from the Reserve Bank of New Zealand is burning sterling banknotes. This happened on July 19, 1968. New Zealand had just switched to a decimal currency. Dana Delaney, 1980. The Nesby in New York protested outside the theatre, asking for the boycott of The Birth of a Nation, 1947. Las Vegas Club, Las Vegas, Nevada, around the 1930s. King Alexander of Yugoslavia, 1934. Brooke Shields and Cindy Crawford, 1988. Zionists set up Hakshara, or training camps in rural Germany, to help people immigrate to mandatory Palestine. These camps taught young Jewish people about agriculture, farming and crafts. This was in Germany around 1938. Jane Mansfield for Life magazine, 1956. Soviet cinema in Ukraine in 1919. The audience is at the cinema car of the Lenin propaganda train. Sedan, Germany, 1986. This is a portrait of Muraguch, a Shoshone warrior. It was photographed between 1884 and 1885. British soldiers during the handover ceremony of Dublin Castle from the British Empire to the Irish Free State, officially establishing the Irish state in 1922. Run DMC, Beastie Boys and a DJ in 1987. The store is packed. 2 women are looking at records. There is a man at the counter, and another man is looking at albums. There are shelves full of records. The counter has records on it too. There's a display near the door. It's a New York City subway car from the 70s. Negative 83 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative 63.9 degrees Celsius. Nicholas II with his son Alexei. Excavations of a 1st century Roman stadium under the main street in Plovdiv, Bulgaria, 1973. A teacher from Little Rock, Arkansas, is presenting her class via television because classes were suspended to avoid integration in September of 1958. Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. The Big Oak, Thomasville, Georgia, 1895 to 2020. This is a portable respirator, also known as an iron lung. It was designed to help patients recover at home. The date is 1955. Someone, an unknown person, is urinating on Nixon's grave in the late 1990s. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are calling their mums after winning the Oscar for Good Will Hunting in 1997. Sophia Loren at 18 in 1953. Swans are being cleared from the Thames before a rowing race. This is England, 1900. Sophia Loren poses for a photo outside Penn Station during her first visit to New York. She was in the city to film That Kind of Woman, a comedy produced in part by her husband Carlo Ponti in 1958. Steve Martin in the 60s. The crowds are at the Lustgarten, next to the Royal Palace in Berlin. It's August 1st, 1914, and they're waiting for the declaration of war. The Zwinger Pavilion in Dresden, Germany. The Casino Kursaal, also known as the Kursaal Pleasure Palace, in Ostende. It was built in 1875 and destroyed during World War II. Wallis Simpson and Prince Edward met Adolf Hitler in October 1937.